shared by people who are in power and their cohorts. At the moment, there's too much of official corruption that is going on. If the government cannot even address matters as basic as water to drink, sanitation, public education, then of course it's difficult.
No water, no light, no road. People are dying every day because of oil exploration.
If the Niger Delta people have been denied their rights to property, no Niger Delta person can lay claim that that piece of land given to him by his ancestors is his as of right, because the government had put in place a decree that says that property, that land, that forest, that river no longer belongs to the person because they want to take control of oil and gas. Who had mobilized his people to say no to pollution, to say no to degradation, to say no to injustice. It is that shout of no, that resistance, that the federal government will not want to tolerate. And that was why they hanged him.
Things have gotten worse since Sarawak was murdered.
The law doesn't say that because you have the permission of the federal government to exploit for oil, it still does not permit you to pollute my environment.
If Shell, IG, ELF, Chevron are allowed to be businesses and we hold them accountable for any ecological violence or moral interruption, the communities can go to court and get justice. Right now, they cannot.
The oil economy is killing almost every other sector that you find in the Niger Delta.
We have witnessed a clear disruption of a sense of community as we had in our villages and towns. Communities have been basically robbed of their means of survival.
We are tired of this situation. One looking for job, no job, you go out for fishing, you don't get fish. An hungry man is an angry man. So any moment from now, a dangerous thing can happen.
They can shut down oil production in Nigeria. The effect of that on the federal government will be great. The government will collapse.
Niger Deltans have been talking for years that when man carries his own weapon, the government is shaking everywhere. So that means the government respects violence, not dialogue.
We have a very repressive government. We have a military that is out to kill. Such a military will go to any length in wiping out communities that occupy platform and they have it closed down.
We are the Niger Delta soldiers.
We are angry that our brother has been killed.
The average Niger Delta is not afraid of death. And if he must die a hero.
not a coward. There are different phases of struggle. We are still using dialogue. Let us see if these people will look at things in our view. But if they do not, everybody, even the women, not only the men, even the women will carry weapons. And when it starts, until we have our freedom, we won't stop.
Thanks. Peter Maass.
Before a little ballet here, where I come around here and then go back. This is an extremely hard act to follow. So I'm just going to talk for a few minutes about my book and how it came into being. And just begin, however, by saying that some of Ed's photos are in my book, and it's just a tremendous kind of honor, and I'm really excited to be here with him, and I'm kind of here to listen to him, not to listen to myself talk. And so I'm going to talk for maybe, 10 minutes or so, or something like that. And then we'll kind of talk amongst ourselves, or have much more of a kind of audience question and answer kind of period than might usually be the case, so that we can kind of talk about photo and words and how they kind of are different and similar, and how we kind of, as photographer and writer, go about doing our jobs, and how they kind of might interact with each other. And I just want to start by kind of, with my book, explaining kind of how it came about. I covered the war in Bosnia in the early 1990s, and I wrote a book about it called Love Thy Neighbor, A Story of War, which came out in 1996. And after that book came out, I knew that I wanted to keep writing books, and I knew that I wanted to write about conflict and human rights abuses. But I didn't want to write about another war itself, because the book I'd written about Bosnia was very much of a kind of you are there type of memoir. It was based on my personal experience, what it was like to be shot at, what it was like to see people next to me being shot. It was very kind of much focused on the visceral epiphenomenon of war. For my next book, I wanted to not write about another particular conflict, but a reason for conflict. Why do these wars happen? What was going on in Bosnia was a consequence. What's been going on in various other world kind of locales is a consequence of forces that result in warfare, that result in global poverty. And so I kind of realized that the way to do this, or the subject that I should take on, this over a course of a couple of years, would be oil. Because oil, when I was in Bosnia, in Sarajevo, which was surrounded by Serb forces under a siege, Bosnians would say to me, if only we had oil, America would care about us and they'd save us. But of course I knew also that a lot of countries in the Middle East where people said, because we have oil, we keep on getting invaded, and it's really better if we had less attention from foreign powers. And so I was interested in this question of, okay, well, how does oil operate? What role does it play in fomenting conflict or preventing conflict, fomenting interventions or not? And I was also interested in kind of figuring out, well, politically, how does it shape the countries that have it? But I was kind of faced with a problem as a writer, which is, okay, the war in Bosnia, this was a book that I did about a particular war in a particular country with dramatic things happening around me. It was dramatic and it was simple. But I kind of realized after I kind of decided, okay, I'm going to be writing a book about oil, how am I going to write this book? Because oil is very different and much more difficult to approach for a writer, and perhaps for a photographer, and we'll talk about this later, than other subjects might be. And I just want to kind of read one paragraph here, which kind of expresses the problem that I found myself confronted with. 2 paragraphs. It's from the introduction of my book. Across the world, oil is invoked as a machine of destiny. Oil will make you rich. Oil will make you poor. Oil will bring war. Oil will deliver peace. Oil will define our world as much as the glaciers did in the Ice Age. If the inner workings of this machine are understood, perhaps an order will be revealed in the world's disorder. But we're not talking about a contraption of pistons and gears that can be schematicized in a precise way. We're presented with too many moving parts, too many clues that defy easy assemblage. How, after all, do you coax secrets from a liquid? To know a person, you talk to him. To know a country, you visit it. To know a religion, you study sacred texts. Oil defies these norms of interrogation.